The Taupo District Council meeting, April meeting. Afternoon, members of the public, councillors, members of the press. At this point, I'd just like to note that it's Mr. Matt Chand's last official council meeting as the Taupo Times reporter. Matt, thank you for your input over the last, I'm not too sure how long it's been, but yeah, Matt's had a promotion to Tauranga, so I'm sure all the councillors wish you well, and introduce Mr. Robert Stephen, who's taken over from Matt. Comes with a very highly recommended from Fairfax, so nice to have you here, Robert. Afternoon, councillors and members of the senior management team. I'd like to ask Councillor Trudman if you could avail yourself, give us a blessing for the day, please.
E te atoa ka harawa ki a tata mai koe ki a mātou e tēnei rā, mana ki te a mātou mahi katoa e rungo i te ingoa o te matua o te tama o te wairua tapu ake ake āmene.
Just at this stage, I'd just like to have a minute's silence for a local Turangi stalwart, Mrs. Betty Otani Woodhouse, a very favoured Turangi resident who unfortunately passed away the night before last. So if we could just have a minute's silence, please, for Betty. Thank you, councillors.
Thank you, David, for that. That's
No problem.
Very well respected.
Absolutely. Okay, item one, apologies. We have apologies from Councillor Rankin and Councillor Kingi. Otherwise, a full complement. Could I have a mover, please, for that? Councillor Hickling, seconded by Councillor Park. All those in favour, please say aye. Aye. Against? Carried. Any conflicts of interest regarding the meeting today and any of the items from any of the councillors? No? Okay. Item number 3, confirmation of the ordinary council meeting on the 28th of March. Do we have any matters arising or clarification of the minutes, please? Councillor Park?
Thank you, Your Worship. I was just wondering in regards to 5.5 on page 7, has there been any further action to the set-up of the working group for the Kinloch Reserve?
Through you, Worship, staff are just looking at the resolution that you've had and starting our landscape planner starting to look at the what the solutions could be, and we'll come back to you with some drafts in very due course.
Thank you, Councillor Cousins.
5.9 on page 9. Just everyone to be aware, Christine Daly from Go Tongariro, the coordinator, has resigned, and we are actively looking for someone to replace her, so that funding will be used towards the new person. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Cousins. And yeah, we're sorry to note that, Christine, but she's staying in the district?
Can you come back as a board member, yes.
Okay, cool. All right, okay. Could we have a mover, please, for those minutes to be accepted? Thank you, Councillor Williamson. Seconded by Councillor Jollins. All those in favour, please say aye. Aye. Against? Carried. Item 3.2, the council minutes of the 13th of April. That's the extraordinary meeting. Any matters arising or clarification of those minutes, please? That being the case, could I have a mover, please, for those minutes? Thank you, Councillor Park. Seconded by Councillor Hickling. All those in favour, please say aye. Aye. Against? Carried. Minutes of the Taupo Airport on the 13th of March. Any matters arising or
Through
clarification? Councillor Cousins.
the chair, so I asked Councillor Jollins, we had a bit of a chat, just maybe for the rest of the council, in regards to the general manager's report about parking. So can you elaborate a little bit, Councillor Jollins, on how they're going to repaint or do something with the car parking spaces down there?
Thank you, Councillor Jollins.
In response to Councillor Cousins' question, and maybe Mr. Ridd might like to add something into this, but we're in the process at the moment of doing some strategic planning for the TAA, and part of the process will to consider parking. But we're hoping to include that as part of our discussions as we move forward into the LTP.
All right, thank you, Councillor Johns. Any other clarification of the minutes or any matters arising?
Mr. Chairman.
Councillor Foddy.
5.1 Waikato Plan Joint Committee. I noticed Councillor Park attended the last one. I think you may well have been ill. I'm interested in when we turn to page 30.
What was this?
Waikato.
No, you've got a few to go before then.
Oh, were you just asking from the minutes? So I'm just doing these minutes.
No, I'll do that. It's fine. Taipo Airport at the moment, on 13th of March. Any other matters arising from the Taipo Airport meeting? No? Could I have a mover, please? Thank you, Councillor John, seconded by Councillor Truman. All those in favour, please say aye. Aye. Against, carried. I to the Fred Committee on the 21st of March. Any matters arising from that meeting? All straightforward. Moved by Councillor Hickling, seconded by Councillor Park. All those in favour, please say aye. Aye. Against, carried. Okay, the Waikato Plan Joint Committee then. Sorry, Councillor Boddy.
Okay. If we turn to page 33, it's really to do with the representation. One of the mayors suggested that the project deserves representation by mayors, and then Mayor King asked that the recommendation be amended to specify mayors as the representative. How many of these meetings do you actually attend, Your Worship?
I think it's documented, but I went to the one before this one. Anna went to the one this one, and I think there's one more coming up. There's been quite several meetings.
Just through the chair, this the Waikato plan is now out for well, actually it's back from consultation. The hearings were held on the draft plan last Friday, of which neither of us attended due to personal reasons. Mine was because I've got 3 children who take priority in school holidays. So there's only limited numbers of meetings left. There's been the deliberations and that's it. So, yeah, we've probably shared them. They haven't been very regular. But yeah, Friday the 21st of April was probably one where neither of us attended due to personal reasons.
Could perhaps Councillor Parker comment in page 30 in regards of Taupo District Council requests an amendment to Great Lake Taupo on the plan summary document map.
Certainly, it had Taupo Lakes on the plan as the wording around our lakes, and I asked that it be changed to Great Lake Taupo to be consistent with our marketing brand.
Could just make a comment on page 33. It considers that the Mayoral Forum was astute. Some people interpret astute as being cunning and devious, so maybe it's a word we shouldn't use much.
That might be your interpretation, but it's certainly not mine.
All right, okay. Let's see, I'm happy to move those minutes, seconded by Councillor Park. Any other points of clarification on those minutes at all? All those in favour, please say aye. Aye. Against, carried. Righto, sorry. Item 5.2. Sorry, getting ahead of myself. 5.2, CBD upgrade Robertson Ruapehu Street, removal of car parks and approval of licence to occupy. Mr. Gareth Robinson.
Good afternoon, Your Worship.
And Fraser is, I presume, coming forward. Fraser Scott, the landscape architect. So, very good. Thanks, Gareth.
The purpose of this report is for Council to consider an opportunity to improve the pedestrian experience at Robertson Ruapehu intersection. We're proposing 5 parking spaces to be replaced. 3 are for safety reasons and 2 are for additional outdoor seating at McDonald's. Fraser will add in more detail if required, and I take this paper as read. And are there any questions?
Okay. Thank you, Gareth. Fraser, do you want anything at this stage, or are you happy to?
Yeah, well, sorry, the image isn't right, but hopefully it's in the item in front of you.
The plan?
The plan, which shows the 2 different types. So 3 had to be removed for safety reasons.
Yeah.
3 car parks, and then 2 this is a great opportunity to provide that extra public space, as Gareth has said.
Okay, cool. All right, Councillor Park. Oh, sorry.
Just for the chair. You said 5, but there's 4 here. And I've miscounted something.
There's 2 in the green area, councillor Cousins, and 3 in blue. Yeah. Oh, there's 5, isn't it?
To approve the conversion of 4 car parks to public space with the street.
Excuse me, through the chair, there's 4 new ones. There was the original concept come up for this intersection, and there was always 1 car park to be removed. So this is 4 additional.
Okay, thank you. So are we going to put 4 elsewhere? I'm conscious that there have been increasing tourism numbers in town and looking at car parks, so we don't make applications for others or not.
So up to you. We haven't allowed for that in the budget for this project as of today, but what we did do, and if I just think just within the last 2 months, we've just put car parking in just around the corner outside Prince Motor Lodge. We put in the side, we put in about 8 additional car parks in the berm there. So our policy is that we, as funds become available, and particularly as we work with adjoining landowners, we're putting in-berm car parks all on that block from Tiri Ropinga Street through to town for the all-day car parking, so that will continue. Other than that, we're simply monitoring where the pressure points are, and for example, the off-street car park by McDonald's, so right in behind here, other than the Monday just gone, it doesn't have an occupancy problem generally, whereas if we were talking the one between BP and Caltex, that does get filled very early in the morning, so we're just sort of monitoring where the availability comes and where we can do things to add more car parks.
I'm not aware, this is totally off topic. Do we have like signage that says parking this way, etc. in total for people who are here from out of town? I'm not aware, that's all. It does say parking this way. Yeah.
We've got all-day blue signs on the lampposts in the various locations, saying all-day parking with a big arrow.
No, thank you.
Gareth, can you just clarify? So this is a continuation of like what we did in Tamamudu Street. Just upgrade. Sorry, Gareth.
Yes, every year we do an intersection upgrade.
Right.
So this is the next one in
This is the next one on the list. Yeah,
The look
cool.
and feel and phrases about the same.
Yeah. So we'll have the cedar and the nice. Yeah, cool. Councillor Park.
Yes, thank you. Gareth, the only concerns I have, like I'm all for this, don't get me wrong, but I do have concerns. McDonald's is a takeaway restaurant and everything is wrapped. And if we extend an outside eating area, what extra contingencies are going to be put into their agreement with them about keeping that litter under control? I mean, we already have an out of control situation with litter, particularly with takeaway packaging. So I just hope that they have a very strong awareness that they should be deadly responsible for that area.
Yeah, so through the chair, in their lease agreement to extend that dining area, we'll make it clear that they need to provide cleanups and meetings.
Thank you.
So the licensed occupier reflects that.
Yep.
Yeah, good point that Councillor Park has raised, and obviously the rubbish bins will be appropriately positioned. Yeah, cool. Councillor Hickling.
Gareth, you just mentioned, and it's interesting to me, that in the lease agreement, do you call these areas dining areas?
It's outside dining area, yeah.
Okay, thank you. Because there's one that's being used as a car park at the moment for a sale of a vehicle.
Barry, sorry, Councillor Hickling, do you mind just talking?
Oh, sorry.
We just
Yeah, there's one at the moment that's being used for the sale of a vehicle.
I think I know the one that you're talking. I'm aware of the one you're talking about, Councillor. We'll have a look into that one and just see how it fits within the licence terms.
Okay.
Could I ask officers of the council, in regards to the safety issues of those car parks, what's the safety issue involved?
It's to do with the tracking curve of the backing vehicle over the pedestrian line. So the focus of this is make it easier for people to cross the roads. And we'd be compromising that if we didn't remove those car parks.
Yeah, the comment was made that there's more car parks along by the Princess Motel. Was that what you were saying? It's quite a walk into the CBD, isn't it?
Those ones in particular are probably 100 metres, 150 metres away, but obviously the CBD operates as a pool for car parks, so that was an example that I was giving to you in terms of very recent car parks that we've added to that pool.
I know there was some size when I mentioned it's a long walk. I'm on Access Taupo Committee, and I'm well aware of our ageing population and those with disabilities. We seem to be taking one hell of a lot of car parks. yes, we're replacing them. One lot was along by the school. That's also a walk for those that are a little bit infirm. So at this stage, I'm against those car parkings going, but I'm for doing up that corner.
Councillor Williamson?
Yeah, through the chair, I support the proposal. It's just going to enhance, you've got to get some balance between, I take Councillor Body's point, between the balance of improving the experience in town per the SISP and for example, outside, like they mentioned with that Tamariki intersection, the feedback you get, the quality of that and the positive feedback, visitors and locals alike. And also, for example, outside the Vine, we lost a couple of car parks, but it's just enhancing the whole experience in the town, for the retailers and also for the visitors and the consumers. So I would move option 1 to approve the conversion of 4 car parks to public space for the works at Ruapehu Robert Street intersection.
And I'll second it.
Thank you, Councillor Williamson. It's been moved and seconded. Does anyone want to speak against the proposal?
Well, I would move an amendment to that, which of course won't go through until this one's lost. I'd amend it to no car parks to go.
Okay, we'll hold that one just at the moment. Okay, so it's been moved and seconded. Does anyone want to speak in favour of the proposal? Okay, I'll put it to the vote. The resolution is Councillor Williamson has moved. All those in favour, please say aye.
Aye.
Those against?
No.
Would you like that recorded?
Yes, please. Did you know that was a close vote?
Okay, item 5.3. Thank you very much, Gareth and Fraser. Appreciate that. Look forward to that contract then completed. Review of draft statements of intent received from council-controlled organisations. Good afternoon, Sue. Sure.
Councillors. Today's item is to review the draft statement of intent from our council-controlled organisations. This is a requirement under the Local Government Act. These were formally received at the March meeting. They have been reviewed by officers. We've provided some small amendments and corrections to grammar directly to the CCOs in an informal way, but there was no formal feedback at this time. When reviewing the SOIs, areas requiring specific consideration are whether council funding priorities are reflected in the SOIs, whether the KPIs and performance measures are realistic and aligned with council strategies. So today is your chance to make additional comments, amendments, or choose not to comment. I'll now ask you to leave any feedback.
Thank you, Sue. And good to see you. Okay, councillors. Any questions or queries or feedback that Sue may require? Straightforward. Okay, seems all good. So we have a suggested recommendation there. On the statement of intents. Can I have a mover, please? Moved by Councillor Cousins, seconded by Councillor Jollins. All those in favour, please say aye.
Aye.
Those against? Carried. Thank you very much, Sue. Appreciate that. Item 5.4. Adoption of the information that supports the consultation document for the annual plan 2017 and 18. Mrs. Ariel King. Good afternoon, Ariel.
Okay, so this item precedes the consultation, adoption of the consultation document item itself. And the purpose of that is just to ensure that the information that supports that consultation document has been adopted by council. So there's a series of information that supports that consultation document. The first is the agenda item that you adopted on the 13th of April regarding the proposal for the building. And the information that was included in an agenda item for the proposed funding for Go Tongariro. There's also the information that supports this item here, which is around the draft financials, and also the assessment report, which we took you through when we went through the workshops. So that information is what supports the following item, and we just need the adoption of this before we move on to the next one.
Thank you, Ariel. Councillor Williamson.
Through the chair, just on page 58, regarding the bus bay on Waikato Street, is that That's the Taranaki College, is that on Hooker Street or Waikato Street? It's Hooker Street.
It is Waikato Street.
Okay.
Round the back,
Yeah, it's Waikato, yeah.
round the back of the college.
Yeah, at the very end.
One that runs down the hill.
Oh, that's past the cemetery, on the cemetery, there being bus bay there, okay.
Yeah, Hawker Street's the one that runs up and
Yeah, where the bus bays are presently.
Cherry Island.
College.
Up the hill.
I know where Waikato Street is, but I thought all the buses presently are on Hooker Street, they go into Hooker Street, right at the back of the college.
I'll just check that area. Perhaps.
Yeah, I'm happy to-
It might be Waikato / Hawker.
Mm.
Yeah. Councillor Park?
Yes, just on the same page as Councillor Williamson, the bottom one, the LED light installation for 2.5 million. In the explanation box, it says that NZTA have offered to co-fund at 85%, meaning the council's contribution's probably got too many zeros.
Well done.
Chocolate fish?
You're very astute, councillor.
Just further to that, Your Worship. So, the laneway lighting funded from Town Centre Taupo, will that be leaded lights as well, or do we know? Yeah, okay, thank you.
Councillor Harvey?
Can I ask, please, just an update on the Norman Smith Street intersection investigation, my favourite topic? Have we started that? Are we underway with that?
Dennis? Good afternoon, Dennis.
Right, can we start it on the 1st of July?
Get the money.
We confirmed it. Councillor Cousins?
Just on the LED, that Councillor Park brought up, that is district-wide, is it? District-wide?
Oh, apologies.
2.5 million on
2.5 million.
page 58.
Yes.
Is the LED installation district-wide?
Yes.
Brilliant. And maybe you might be... I'm not too sure who it goes to. Page 59 with the old bowling green. How much land is the old bowling green? Sorry, you can go now.
Mr. Wood?
Well, it's, I don't know what's, Barry, I don't know physically how big it will be, but
Acre? I don't know.
80 square, yeah, it's not, I mean,
It's not an acre, it's not an acre.
no, it's part of the reserve management plan anyway, was to take back that third bowling green. The idea was to redevelop that, but because there's quite a few question marks out there, we've decided just to sit back a bit and just wait. It's reserve land though.
Yeah.
Reserve, yeah.
So there's more land in the Tongariro domain, well, there will be, than we anticipated. Is what I'm trying to ascertain is exactly how much there is, because it all
It's part of the domain, but it was leased to the bowling club,
Yeah,
and
now I take it.
we've taken it back.
Yeah.
And the last thing was, just wanted clarification, in regards to the 17-18 plan of our debt, it's 144 million on page 57, but I had a funny feeling it was 140, then someone, I think it might have been Neil's, was it 148, or am I completely wrong? Sorry. It was 148? So does that mean that 144 has to be amended, or I don't know? That's correct, okay, all right, thank you.
Councillor Jollins?
Thank you, Your Worship. Just one question from me on page 62. The $1 million that's been set aside for the future of the main building, or signalled in the annual plan, what's the scope for that, please?
The scope is around the investigations and consenting and design process, and part of that will, I think, will also include the relocation.
Okay, any other questions of Ariel? All right. Suggested recommendation there. Consultation document 1 and 2. Could I have a mover, please, for that, Councillor Williamson? Thank you. Moved by Councillor Williamson, seconded by Councillor Park. All All those in favour, please say aye. Aye. Against? Carried. Thanks, Cyril. 5.5. Okay, this is adoption of the consultation document for the annual plan, 2017-18. For consultation, Ariel is joined by Lisa Nian, Communications Manager. Afternoon, Lisa.
Hello. My understanding is that you received the latest version of this earlier today. So what we'd like to do is go through that and identify any changes, but also talk about the process following the adoption of this consultation document. So the consultation will begin on the 1st of May and run until the 26th of May, with hearings set down for the 7th to the 9th of June, and deliberations on the 15th of June. There obviously will be some minor wording and grammatical changes that will follow this meeting, but we're also keen to get your feedback now in terms of the look and feel of the document and any other changes that you'd like to propose.
Okay, thanks, Cyril. You want to go through each page by page, Lisa, or want us to? Okay. So the cover, that's the building. I'm standing about the fence. Okay, page number 2. Is everyone happy with what's on there? I suppose is the question. Councillor Cousins?
Could I suggest on page 2 that we certainly hark back to our discussion there about 9 Rifle Range Road, because you don't, I think maybe that should be made, just noted as a separate building, do you think, or is that just being too picky? That is not the building that's in question.
Also separating the
back building as not included in this, because there's spoken to about, people will assume it's all the building, but the back building at 9 Rifle Range Road is not included in this here, is it? No. I'm just thinking for clarity's sake, should we define?
Yeah, so just on that, following Gareth's email on Friday, it's referred to as the Lake Terrace site all the way through the document, because the public won't differentiate between 72 Lake Terrace and 9 Rifle Range Road, given that our physical address is actually 72 Lake Terrace. I'm concerned that if we were to start entering in 9 Rifle Range Road now, that there may be some confusion.
Lake Terrace site sounds good, but people know.
9 Rifle Range Road is certainly included in the value.
Yes, I see that.
Further on in the document.
It's just my suggestion. Thank you, Lisa.
Okay, is everyone happy with it being termed as the Lake Terrace site?
Yep.
All right. So any more on page 2, Councillor Boddy?
Well, look, probably not on page 2 or the other page. I just want clarification in regards to the total building. The recent bill was 2011. Are we going to the people saying that our preferred one is the site here, plus it's all to be L4? Or are we just saying it's this part of the building, if we stay here, needs doing up to reach L4? What are we actually... Are we asking to build, the people that we're going to build a building totally up to that standard, so that we move the Civil Defence headquarters in here, or are we going to leave them where they are if we stay here? There seems to be a lot of questions that haven't been in the document.
Well,
If I understand
Mr Mayor, the complete refurbish of the Lake Terrace building, it refers to IL2 and also to IL4 status civil defence. So if we went to that option, obviously at some stage we'd make the decision whether it was just 2 or 4.
Sorry, through Mr. Worship, the thought process was that if it was a complete rebuild, then
you'd naturally go to
IL4 because then that's suitable post-disaster recovery. If it was the refurbishment, the advice that the architect gave you was that we could make part of the building IL4, so therefore you wouldn't need the emergency operating centre, which is too small in the old prefab, but the rest of the building, it would be either unachievable or too expensive to make the whole building IL4.
Well, Mr Chairman, through you, I did express in our meeting this morning my concerns about the speed this is taking place, and if we just went for the 1.2, it gives us some breathing space of a couple of years. That may not be satisfactory. You've also said this morning that we could signal an amendment to the long-term plan. I'm just wondering if you could run it past us again, how that would take place.
An amendment to the long-term plan would take place?
As per your and my conversation with Local Government New Zealand.
So if council was of a mind that you couldn't, that you weren't, didn't want to make this decision now, but you wanted to some months down the track, then like any decision at any time, you could do a long-term plan amendment. That would require full audit, etc. of that document, so it would come with extra costs. I would probably say that if you were doing that, you would simply wait until, because you're doing a long-term plan next year anyway, you'd probably wait until that time. The issue then is that you have relocated the staff out of the building for a considerably longer period of time between now and when you get an outcome.
So why are we not going to, in this long-term plan consultation, signal our intent to amend our long-term plan, the annual plan, to amend the long-term plan?
So the decision that you made in the last council meeting was to put it through this annual plan.
Thank you for that, but at this stage, no one had had that conversation to state, as you already pointed out this morning, any time we can amend a long-term plan. Now we're all aware of that again, why aren't we doing it?
Ariel.
So just maybe this will help provide some clarification. There's only certain circumstances that require an amendment, and this part of this process that we're going through at the moment, and even if we were to do it slightly later, is not an amendment process. So that's why we haven't talked amendment processes with you to this point.
Councillor Williamson?
Yeah, through the chair. Just listen to quite a bit of the discussion as we all have, the debates around about just what it should be, which should be with the risk of the asbestos, etc., and the time you're moving out. But I'm just trying to be a bit philosophical about the big picture stuff here. We're talking about a vision, getting on and showing a lead in this community about providing amenities and facilities that are fit for purpose. So that if I apologise, just look at the big picture stuff. I understand all the implications and understand the arguments around other people have different views, but that's just where I stand. Wherever that may be, whether it's here or somewhere else, I think we just need to get on with the big picture stuff and just do it.
Thank you, Councillor Williamson. All right, back to the document. Perhaps we go through the document. Is there any councillors want to raise any particular points on the document that they want changed or altered or amended? Councillor Cousins?
On page 5 it must be, where it's got alternative option 4. I still believe it needs to be in there, because it says financial strategy implications, but nowhere does it mention in there about using the funds from the sale of this site to build and offset any capital investment. I don't understand why it's not under the financial strategy implications. It should be there.
That's a good point.
So there's a first point there, the sale of the Lake Terrace site and funds used towards.
Yes, and proceeds used to fund the build.
Okay.
Well, just finally, Mr Chairman, have any of us sat down and worked out what central government were attempting to do some years ago by making us merge with other councils? What are the implications long-term for a building if that happens?
Through your worship, there's certainly nothing on the cards from the Local Government Commission at the moment. They're working in the wider upper, the west coast, and doing some investigation work in Auckland. So there's certainly nothing in the short to medium term. I would say even if we were unlucky enough to be amalgamated with somebody else in the future, you would still need an administration presence and building in Taupo, the size of which, who knows what that impact would be. I guess this is showing confidence to your community that we do intend to still have a presence in Taupo.
Thank you.
Thank you. Councillor Cousins?
On page 6, we discussed in private earlier on that the indicative cost for the lease that has to be differentiated, because it's not the annual lease we're talking about of $1 million. Is that right? We're saying it's $1 million for a first year, but then it's going to drop.
So we'll make that change, so it's not a per annum $1 million, you're correct.
Thank you. And I've got to say, on page 7, I really do like the way you've headed it up, Lisa, sorry. Have your say, I like the way you've worded that, so thank you for that.
So Lisa, you got that regarding the lease on page 6? Yeah, cool, okay. Good. Councillor Harvey?
Just regarding the 1 and 2, I have mentioned for the other comment as to whether it can be a little more direct to if somebody has ideas of other sites. I mean, I know it says, do you have any other comments? But I'd like it to be a little more open so it invites ideas. Because I've had lots of people also mention various sites. So it'd be nice to see it say something a little more.
A third one put in there? What would you?
If it can be done in what we've proposed.
So you're saying something like,
If you prefer another site, what is the location and what do you have, what thoughts do you have, or something just to give them a lead.
So we'd like 2 boxes there, Lisa, Turangi and Mangakino.
Councillor Harvey, we did discuss that and we were looking at how lengthy the list could be. Would you be happy if we amended that to, do you have any other comments or a preferred site in the comment section?
That would be fine, I think. Yep.
So that would be number 3? So that would be number 3? Or just, okay, cool, all right. Thank you, Councillor Harvey. Councillor Boddy?
Just very quickly, one of the things that's been raised with me is car parking. I know it suggests that this has already got a built-in car park. There's nothing in the document that tends to lead people to know that we'd be looking at the car parking at the same time, below or above a building. Wasn't so many years ago, we were talking about Tin Pin Bowling Alley with a park above it. Has that been looked at? Or is it part of the options for people to discuss?
Through the chair, if you were looking at one of the other options that's currently car park, then my suggestion to you at that time would be, and we spoke about this at the workshops, would be that you'd need to replace that car parking that you were building on, and in fact you'd probably want to add to that pool, like the discussion we were just having before, both generally for the town centre's growth, and also because of the extra cars that you'd be putting in from council's activities. So that would be one of those decisions that you would take if you were looking at one of those alternative sites. We simply don't know at this point until you know what your preferred site is, what they could look like and what the mix of uses and activities on those sites could be. So to me, that would be one of those things that you would decide in your deliberations. If it wasn't this site that was your preference, then where and what would the mix of uses be on that site?
Thank you.
Would it be fair to say that this is just the start of what will be a rather long journey that we will be working with our community on?
Thank you.
Okay. You're correct there. So then I'm sure we will hear from the community quite loud and clear on this particular subject, which is great. That's what we're here for. So any other comments or
Thank you, Your Worship. Just a question for me, Lisa. You talked about May being the period of consultation. Are we in planning holding any public meetings or information sessions?
What we've got planned to date is these, we've got about 1,000 copies of these being printed that will be available at our council facilities from next week. We also have a couple of pages going in the Topol Times. When I sent out the email last week, I asked for feedback on consultation events and nobody addressed that. So I was just wondering whether we could get some indication now of whether you would like to have some consultation events, and if so, where would you like them to be?
Okay. What's worked in the past, what hasn't worked? Some of them, so a lot of people, I think the subject's quite topical, so I'm sure that we have some consultation downtown.
Would you like us to come up with some options?
Come up with some options, I think.
Yeah.
Because I think you will get the people there.
Yeah, I think what we're signalling is an appetite to have those discussions, and
sure.
And I know when we did the LTP, you set up a series of meetings in different parts of the community, and we went to those meetings as well. I think that's probably a good option to look at.
Like an information night or something like that. Yeah.
Sure. We'll come up with some options and send them out for you.
Yeah, cool.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, very good. Well, thank you very much for putting the document together.
and I'm sure you'll make those changes as necessary. So perhaps there's a recommendation there on 5.5 that we adopt the amended consultation document.
I was just going to say with amendments, maybe should be edited.
With amendments.
The end.
And get that rolling. Do I have a mover, please? Moved by Councillor Hickling, seconded by Councillor Harvey. All those in favour, please say aye. Aye. Against? Carried. Thanks, ladies. 5.6. Council's March Performance Report. Mr Gareth Green.
I'll start off, Your Worship, but I'll be relatively brief. And I'll be brief because what we're doing this month, which is slightly different to previously, is I've got my group managers here who will walk you through the majority of the report. I think some of them were upset that they weren't having enough to say through the meeting, so we've given them this opportunity to take that opportunity. If you ask him some questions, he may well do. I guess just in terms of emerging challenges and the key things, we've just spoken about the building. Obviously that is and will continue to be a major issue for us. So between that and the other project that you've approved today being the work to Ruapehu Street, those are sort of the two key projects that we've got on the books at the moment. Other than that, I won't steal the thunder of the group managers who will walk you through the document.
Okay, so who have we got first?
Okay, I'll start with the council financials. We continue to have a good year. Activity levels are such that the operating revenue is well ahead of budget. Expenses remain under control. And as you see, we are currently forecasting a year-end position of just over 8 mil compared with the 4.4 budget. In saying that, we have not included any costs that could be incurred this year in respect of relocation, because until council makes a decision in that regard, it's not up to us to forecast any expenditure. If we move to the next page, that gives you a better breakdown of the areas that revenue is ahead of plan, and once again, all I can say is it's been a damn good year.
So the surplus has mainly come about by the operating revenue?
You've got $1 million or so in development contributions, but really in the activity levels, you got your fees and charges that are up significantly. We have done rather well in the investment area, but we'll talk about that when we get to the Treasury Management Report. And basically, we've been able to do that within existing staffing numbers, which is quite a major achievement.
Great. Signs of a busy district. All right. Any questions of Alan? Okay. We'll go next to community services. Is that right?
I'll kick off that one, Mr Chair. I wasn't one of those group managers who was looking to have more significant speaking rights, but I lost that vote. Really from the community services page, it's basically Alan and I. My areas in terms of emergency management, community engagement, etc. A couple of things there that I did clarify for you about the insurance payment that you raised previously. You'll also see their revenue from fires, which we're still working to square away before the new entity comes into play. Of that 126k, there is one significant fire that we are looking to recover costs on. Everything else is pretty much business as usual.
Thank you, Ron.
Some of those costs from fires that are trying to be recovered, were they fires that are along Acacia Bay Road? I think there's one there from memory. I think the main one is at Ohaki, the significant one.
Could I also, Mr Chairman, take the opportunity to congratulate Mr Fox on his blog. I think it was this week, in regards to the cyclone that we're expecting. I think the points that you made were very, very valid, and it's very nice to know that we've got a good team ready in an emergency.
Thank you, Councillor.
Sorry, can I just add to that? As the Emergency Management Chair, and along with the mayor, we got to attend the incident briefings and be part of the conference calls and whatnot with the EOC team, and along with the stakeholders, with fire and the police and everything else. And it was a fantastic experience. There are really good relationships in there, and all the personality mixes are right, I think. Everyone is very resilient and patient and communicates really well. And I think it showed that we are resilient, but there are a few sort of weak spots around when there are events happening, and we've got staff in other areas that perhaps we need to look at how we are more resilient in our own patch, because if it wasn't a weather event but a sudden event, it would have had different implications. But the silver lining was we didn't have to worry, but it was a really worthy exercise to have to go through. So you've got a great team, Mr. Fox.
Thank you. Thanks. Thank you, Councillor Park. Well spoken. All right, any other questions of Mr. Fox? No? Okay, we'll go through to water.
Right, I'll get this one. Yep, thank you. Again, I don't know which GM's asked for extra speaking rights because it wasn't me either. But so development contributions in water, there's an increase of 440k there, and that's due to a large number of subdivisions coming online. That's Brentwood, multiple stages there, the Neil Group, which is radio station, and Kinloch Loch Eagles, plus a whole lot of smaller sites. Then there's 671 variants in subsidies and grants. This is basically due to timing. We haven't started the Waitanuri Water Project yet, so therefore no Ministry of Health funding has come through. The Waitanuri tender will be ready to go out to the 3 selected contracting companies by the end of this week, and the tender will close at the end of May. And then the only other thing to note for water is the backup onshore park water bore will be in place by December.
Good, thank you, Kevin. Any questions or queries? Councillor Collins.
Just a quick question from me, Mr. Strongman. The Waitanuri Water, the Ministry of Health subsidy, is there a time limit on that, on when we have to use it? Does it expire?
Through the chair, I'm unaware of it, but as long as we keep them up to date, they've generally been fine in other ones that I've had to deal with.
Okay, thank you. Sometimes they come with caveats.
Onshore park water is happening. Sorry, I'm quite...
Yes, so there's been a third bore been drilled, and it's come back with some adequate, we'll call it adequate water quality, and it's capable of being the backup bore for what's up there at the moment. This is not a long-term solution though, we will have to look at alternatives further down the track.
Thanks, Kevin. Any questions? Any further questions? No? We'll just go. Okay, transportation. What is that?
I'll do that one again. So again, there's increased projected revenue from DCs. Hooker Falls footpath. The tender document is in its final review and will go out the end of this week. The Whariwaka to Rambo Point project will follow the Hooker Falls project. And just to note that all the reseals and renewals are on track to be completed.
Good. Any queries on transportation reseals? All roads sealed in the district, are they, Kirsty? Fair enough.
Okay, so just Kevin is probably worthy noting that we have had a couple of issues with some reseals at the moment, which you may be hearing about. So 2 in particular, I think, which is the Control Gates Hill and Miro Street. And we're currently working with the contractor in terms of finding a solution to those, which will be at the contractor's expense and issue. Yeah.
So with we got some bad weather coming, we expect to do something on that next week.
Just didn't last, did it?
It just didn't last, yes.
No.
All right. Thank you, Kevin. Community facilities.
Right, so Kevin and I will tag team this. I'll just go first. This is made up primarily of our venues, libraries and parks and reserves. The major revenue is generated through the pools. So, I mean, with the bad weather, we had quite an exceptional year through all our pools, which are 3. So that's created definitely increase in revenue, and we're well ahead there. Just some interesting facts for you, I guess. The swim school has got a waiting list of 300. So I think the Swimwell programme that we've been running in conjunction with Contact has obviously picked some interest there. But I do think probably got families moving to town which will take advantage of that. So it's a bit of a challenge for us actually how we manage that, because 300 is quite a lot. Yeah, project-wise, we've just flipping over the page, we've got some performance measures there, particularly some of them are out of control, particularly around the sporting events. We only need to grab a couple more, I guess, and we'll hit our target. But that's obviously generated by the market out there rather than us. If there's any questions on that particular project around Otamaheki Stream, I'll let Kevin respond to that.
Yeah, so just an update on Otamaheki Stream. We've got some concept drawings for the toilet block. They look really good. But we're also waiting for some concept drawings of the work we're going to do around by the stream edge. Once we've got all that together, we'll probably put that in a report back to council probably next month.
Just through this, yes, we're probably quite nice to acknowledge Contact's contribution to Sawmill with its next $100,000 over the next 2.5 years.
Yep.
Yes, I think probably Councillor Rose St. John's is part of that sort of negotiation.
Very, very well received, and I know a lot of young kids have benefited from that program. Of course, the big wide lake out here is most necessary that you kids can swim.
Yes, through the chair, the one thing, just following on from Mr. Ridd, the one thing that you're probably going to have we suggest that you have a think of through the long-term plan will be that swim school and how you run that generally, and that we do have that waiting list of 300 kids that simply can't get in at the moment. You could accommodate them all, but it would require a whole lot more staffing to get instructors on to do it. So that's the sort of discussion that we'll be encouraging you to have in terms of how we resource for that, to be able to get the increased income, but also to be getting people through the swim school.
Yes, so we'll work on that. It'll be part of your LTP discussion. Okay, cool.
What do they pay a fee?
Yep. It's subsidised by the Contact sponsor.
By the ratepayer, so we do a set amount at the moment, and we're capped out. So we've got a waiting list of 300. So the question is, do you want to refigure that as part of a long-term plan? Because obviously there's a demand there at the moment, but as a business, we're having to turn people away essentially.
Some new balls.
Shame.
Probably not so much the floor space as it is about the teaching.
That's it.
Okay.
Council
all right.
the pool on
Thank you very much, gentlemen. Community facilities, that's what I said. Wastewater.
Yeah, there's so wastewater again. There's an increase in DCs. Seems to be a common theme. Obviously, subdivisions play into all of the core infrastructure. The other two projects that are highlighted, red and amber, they've been well articulated previously. So Turangi and Kinloch.
Okay. Any questions, Kevin, on the wastewater? All right. Solid waste.
So solid waste, the only thing I really want to make mention of there is we've been tracking consistently about 2,000 to 2,200 tonnes per month, except for February, which was well down on 1,700. We can only assume that most people were on holiday or others there. But we do project to be at 25,300 tonnes by the end of this year. So that's an increase of 4,000 tonnes or about 2 months. That's just due to good economic times and people buy more and create more rubbish.
Thanks, Kevin. I just say I visited the dump yesterday, on the weekend actually. What a fantastic setup it is. The guy out there, I think it's Shane is the guy's name, he is incredible. He helps so many people up there, and I tell you what, whoever the contractor running it is, they did a fantastic job, and it's a very tidy, neat operation. And I was in disguise too, a hat and sunglasses and a waistcoat on. So anyway, all right. Stormwater.
Just ask the
Council body, sorry.
What do you think is going to happen around the Kinloch? It's high use of the recycling. Kinloch?
Maybe Gareth can help me on that one, sorry.
What was the question, sorry, Councillor?
In regards to the solid waste report, it talks about Kinloch having extra use.
Dennis is going to make a cameo.
What's happening is during the holiday period with the buildings happening out there and the increase in population, the size of the transfer station at certain peak times is getting a bit smaller, and we're getting flow of traffic out onto Fontana Road. So we need to look at how we can manage that site so we can get get all of the demand within the site rather than flooding out the road.
Is the site, Mr Chairman, big enough to handle an expansion?
That's what we're looking at.
Thank you.
I think there's, how many new builds at the moment? 47 new builds? Yeah. All right, thank you, Dennis. Where were we? Stormwater.
Yeah, there's no exceptions to report on stormwater.
Forward. Democracy and planning.
Thank you, Mr Chairman. I'll probably start with the democracy piece, and really it is business as usual. There's no significant variances to budget. We did report previously on the official information requests and the fact that we had not responded to one within the time frame that we've maintained. The fact we have with all the others. Really, in terms of the policy stuff, I'll leave that to Alan or Nick if they want an update in terms of that.
Okay, thanks, Mr Fox. Alan, Nick, planning?
You've been pretty much involved in a lot of these consultations and changes to policy plans and bylaws, but have you got any specific questions on any of these? Nick's here to answer.
Okay, flood management plan that's all going to plan, is it, Nick? Yep.
Looking at coming to you in probably the June meeting for all adoption notifications. Right.
Cool.
Through the chair.
Reasonable topical subject at the moment, so it's good timing, I think. Councillor Williamson.
I'd just like to acknowledge another acknowledgement, Nick and Sue Maver doing the presentation of Lakes Water Action Group the other day. Public, getting out in the public and telling the story.
Good.
And same for the Freedom Camping on the marketplace. Fortnight ago. With Jane and Nick and Sue.
Thank you, Councillor Williamson. Councillor Boddy.
Nick, what's this extreme wave overtopping? What's that exactly?
So you may well remember through a number of workshops we've talked about wave run-up activity. Our discussions with Waikato Regional Council officers they suggested that extreme wave activity is perhaps a better description. So it's the same thing that we've been talking to you about quite some time, just a slight change in the language.
Okay.
Could you just explain the wave run-up thing again? No, that's all right.
That's where you get on your surfboards. Could I just ask that there was no problem specifically with the high water levels that we've been experiencing in the lake?
No substantial issues as far as I'm aware. Clearly there are some ongoing issues at Kuratau no Mori in terms of erosion, and I know the team's certainly looking at that, but in terms of the very high lake level we had recently, I understand that we got off relatively lightly.
So it was through the chair, it was a real concern through the planning that we worked on before for the storm event that we talked about. And in fact, the forecasting that the regional council did at that point indicated a 5 metre increase on the lake level to the maximum that we had. If we'd had that and the winds that were forecasted in the direction that was forecasted, we would have had significant increased erosion, particularly at the southern end of the lake around Kuratau. We had our staff out there, I think, up until about 11 o'clock that night with a truck full of sandbags and sandbagging some of those houses in anticipation. So we did everything that we could in the emergency sense to enable it, but it would have been an issue, definitely.
Could I then ask the question, the 3 properties that were evacuated around at Acacia Bay Road, were they evacuated because they were right on the water, or what was the story with those?
So that was as a result of erosion, that was as a result of stormwater, so overland stormwater rather than the lake level.
Because of the heavy rains and things. Thank you.
Yeah, it was also due to access, because the stormwater would take away their access into those properties.
But the properties themselves are legit, licensed, consented properties, aren't they?
Some.
Who then paid for the cost of the evacuation and the accommodation?
Our welfare, as part of the civil defence response, our welfare response included the costs associated with that.
And that's internal monies, not external monies?
Correct.
Thank you.
Okay, all right. Investment. Everybody?
Well, actually, we'll cover some of this in the Treasury Management Report, but as you can see, the benefits that flow through from gain on sale of properties, and for us having a conservative but balanced approach to equity investments.
Any questions of?
No questions, Your Honour.
All right, thank you very much, Alan. Economic development.
Yep, so I guess everyone will agree we're pretty buoyant at the moment, the economy. There's some Oriel are about to turn on their snow machine, I noticed in the newspapers, so that major game player is going to work its way through, I guess, over the next 12 months. And yes, some really exciting times, I guess, at the moment for this town. It's on the cusp of something, I think. Take any questions. I guess the oranges there are things, again, that are out of council's control, but are seen as measures of the economy.
All right, thank you, John. Any questions of John? No? Forward, that's cool. Treasury Management Report.
Okay, as we can see, the OCR is still at 1.75. Inflation was announced at 2% last week. We're starting to see the potential increase in interest rates flowing out from America. The French elections are going to have some sort of impact. Friday is 100 days for President Trump, and they need to pass legislation to fund the government. If they don't fund it by Friday, then we can see some more vitality, or depends on what side of the fence you're looking at. As you can see, our debt and borrowings is pretty much in line with what Mr Ward responded to Councillor Cousins on earlier. If we look at the second page, the performance report there, a year-to-date return of just over 3% is on our general funds. If you move over 2 pages to the TEL portfolio, you see that portfolio is generating 6.92% as an annual return. So that shows part of the ability to increase your yield by being involved in equities, which I know is not altogether favourable with some people, but we only have about 11% of the portfolio in equities, but you can see how you can, by sensible investments, lift your returns from the 3.06 to the 6.92%. The rest of the portfolio is pretty much under control, and with Neil and Jeanette's assistance, the Treasury position of Council is pretty strong at the moment.
Thanks, Alan. Any questions? Yeah, Councillor Buddy.
See, Mr Manhattan has used the word that I don't like. Are you able to advise me what our loss on the Tesco shares to date?
In the current year, the loss is as much related to the currency difference between New Zealand dollar and the Great Britain pound as a result of Brexit, where when we purchased those shares, the exchange rate was 46.1. It's now somewhere around 57. So that has an impact on the New Zealand dollar value of the shares. But just like if someone owns a house, you don't actually make money on it or lose money on it until you sell. It's the same with the Tesco shares.
And through you, Mr Chairman, we've had those shares now for some considerable time.
Yes, and we've been getting dividends off them as well.
Thank you.
Any other questions, Alan?
Through the Chair, I just once again just endorsed a very prudent management of the financial position of the Council, and you and your team, Alan.
Just clarifying the AA rating, have we had any clarification on that this year yet, or?
The confirmation that's come through towards the end of May. Our expectation is that it will remain the same.
Thanks, Neil.
Mr Chairman, just on that point, will our what we do with this building, that will not impact on the next report, but it may well on the one following, that be correct?
We had our annual review with the committee from Standard & Poor's. We made the information related to the building available, and based on our current financial position, they didn't have any concerns about our credit rating as a result of expenditure required on the building.
So they will take into account in this report the fact that we may spend on a building? Okay, thank you.
Just to clarify, on that as well, when you send force look at the credit rating and the credit breaches of the EMC, they look both into the future and retrospective as well, so that they look kind of both ways, balance up the view of the business.
Okay, thank you. Thank you to your team on that, Alan. Good, all right. Is that about it? That's it? Okay. All right, thank you very much. So we have a suggested recommendation there that the council notes the information contained in the council performance report for the month of March. I have a move, please, by Councillor Williamson, seconded by Councillor Jollins. All those in favour, please say aye. Aye. Against? Carried. And thank you to the management team for all your input. That I quite like the variance actually, instead of hearing from Gareth the whole time. Nice to hear from you out of voice. It's good. All right, 5.7, joint management agreement with Tiara River Iwi Trust. Another joint management.
Good afternoon again. I'll take my report as being read, if I may, and just note one correction. A couple of times I've talked about the joint management agreement being signed. In actual fact, it's been approved. You may well remember December last year, we brought you up the draft agreement and you went through an approval process. Tarrant have done the same thing at their end. The formal signing is planned for the 19th of May. Timing for this paper is driven by that, and that largely we'd like to see the representatives that we're proposing today go forward and represent council at that signing as really the beginning of that relationship moving forward.
Thanks, Nick. Tiara, that's Tiara, Rotorua?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, largely Rotorua based.
So will there be much involved for us, or?
Probably less so than Rokar and certainly a lot less than Tufrotoa.
Right. Okay, so what you're looking for is a couple of...
Looking for three.
Three. Representatives. Councillor Kingy. Would you be interested? Any other anyone else interested?
Yeah, well,
Okay, so Councillor Williamson, Truman and Kingy. Everybody happy with that? So could I have a mover, please, for that? Thanks. Moved by Councillor Cousins, seconded by Councillor Park. Oh, yeah. So who's...
I would propose that was Councillor Truman.
yeah,
I was going to say
Yes,
Councillor Kingy.
The only thing I would temper with Councillor Kingy is his other involvements with Police Rotara and the trustees. I think it's a conflict.
Conflict. Okay. Councillor Truman, are you happy to accept the co-chair role?
I would, I prefer Tom to, I just think it's more appropriate for this time.
As co-chair, is that co-chair of the joint between us and them? Yeah, okay.
So it'll essentially be a committee that'll meet probably once or twice a year, 3 of their members, 3 of ours, talk about what's going on in a council space and an iwi space. It's very much a relationship building exercise.
I don't necessarily think there would be a conflict with Councillor Kenny. It is just it's a relationship thing and a discussion gathering thing. I think the other one
We'll put him in and just and see that if he has a difficulty with it, that Councillor Truman, we could amend it at the next meeting or something like that. Is that, are you happy with that? Councillors happy with that?
Yep.
All right, so councillors Truman and Kingy, Truman and Williamson, governments, and to act as, and councillor Kingy to act as trade co-chair. Correct? All right, do we, do I move that?
Can you just confirm that councillor Cousins and councillor Park are happy with adding that second part of the resolution?
The co-chair, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Moved and seconded.
Thank you. All right, all those in favour, please say aye.
Aye.
Against? Carried. 5.8 Ringateiki River Forum. Appointment of alternate Taupo District Council representative, Mr. Fox. Tina, sorry.
So this was really making sure we'd had an alternative member who could attend if councillor Kingy was unable to attend the forum.
Oh, yeah, cool.
We did have representation there.
Good, thank you, Tina. Any volunteers for this particular project? They've just set up, haven't they?
They've only started. Well,
there might be a few meetings set in. Anyone keen from the right-hand side?
I don't mind. I'd be happy to if no one else does.
I'll nominate councillor Harvey.
I'll second.
Thank you, councillor Harvey. All right, recommendation there that councillor Harvey be appointed as the alternative representative. Bear in mind, Tong, I think, is quite keen on this one, so you probably won't have to front too much, but we have a move for that. Councillor Park, thank you. Seconded by councillor Cousins. All those in favour, please say aye. Aye. Against, carried. 5.9. Council engagements, Tina.
yes, so these are the engagements for May. I haven't got any alterations to what's there. And then there's some conference and professional development opportunities, one around the new drinking water online database in Rotorua, which from feedback was very well received by some elected members who had already attended. And then we've got the Emergency Management Conference in Wellington, 7th and 9th of June, which unfortunately will be clashing with our annual plan submissions.
Okay, just to go up to the council meeting, it will be changed at 2 p.m. to 1:30.
Yep.
And the public forum 1 to 1:30. Right, okay, regional representative presentation on the new drinking water online. Councillor Cousins, would you be interested in going to that?
Submissions that day.
Right.
Probably won't be, well, at this stage we haven't had any submissions through, so chances will be pretty light in terms of that.
All right, so we'll just leave that one at the moment, I think, Tina. I don't think there's too many candidates for that particular one, if that's okay. Right, the 7th and 9th of June, what do we do about that? So it clashes with what?
Annual plan submissions.
Yeah, so through the chair, it was more about if we had the approval in place, then if we could go, we'd go, but of course the hearings and whatnot are of the priority. That's what we're elected to be here for people.
Yeah.
So it's just to have it in place instead of having to ask for it retrospectively.
When do the annual plan hearing start, sorry?
They start on the 7th.
On the 7th, okay, so it might,
So we may go, but we may not.
yeah. So you possibly go on the 8th, morning of the 8th. If we get everything away, we could get everything away by the nighttime flight on the 7th.
But it just means that if the approval's there, then we go, we
Yeah,
can, if
okay.
not, our priority.
All right. So I think we'll leave that in there, and if it's workable, yeah. Okay, local government conference taking place in Auckland. Who would like to go to that? We normally send two, I think, councillors.
It's usually the mayor and one of the councillors.
Okay.
Through the chair, I was intending to be in Auckland that week, so I could attend.
Okay, cool. Would you attend, is it the day facilities, or would you go to the nighttime activities as well?
Just the day.
Just a day, yeah, okay, so there is a registration for, I think, just the meetings only, isn't there, Tina?
Yes, I believe so.
Yeah, so that,
Yeah, or I might, let me have a look at the,
Councillor Jollins?
The information, yes.
and I can make my own way up there and back, and accommodation as well.
Saturday, Sunday,
Yeah.
Okay, anyone else?
I'd quite like to go, but it looks like I'm being really greedy. But I have been to local government for a couple of years, and I think it would be really worthwhile. And I think these are great opportunities rather than anything else.
Anyone
And
else?
it's in school holidays, so I'll get childcare.
Anyone else like to go? Being Auckland, I think the costs will be a bit reasonable. I think most of us can drive up, can't we? Well, fly. And if we book in New Zealand pretty early, it's cheap.
What day is it? Sunday, Monday, Tuesday?
Yeah. It's normally the main features are the keynote speeches, fairly reputable international speakers, and also obviously the ministers of the Crown are there. You can get up front with them.
What's the theme of the conference this year?
I don't know.
Do we know?
No, Tina?
No, I haven't got the
I
information
sort
on
of
that.
Oh, okay.
I just wanted to, just been pointed out that it's actually July 23rd to 25th of July.
Can say that.
You're well in advance.
30th of
All the
June.
ministers there because it's 3 months.
Resolution.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
The 30th of June is a Friday, so they get a date time.
I could be interested, worship, please.
Creating pathways to 2050, livable spaces and livable places.
Oh, okay. Sounds interesting.
Okay, so Councillor Jollins, Park and Hickling.
I'd like to come back on it if you wouldn't mind. I just want to check my diary. 'Cause I'm
Well,
quite
could we
interested.
maybe put you in, and then if you don't go, we don't have to bring the paper back?
That's
I
great.
know it as well, and Councillor Truman's pushing me.
Well, it's right up your alley.
For 2 days.
Excuse me.
I'm not letting go. I'll bugger it, I want to be here.
Okay, well, Zane, were you keen? Yep. So put the names in, and then I think people can look at the itinerary, can look at the costs, look at what's involved, and obviously keep the cost to a minimum. And being Auckland, I think it's not a South Island thing, so it's quite achievable for us. So I think it'll be good. Have we got any nominations for any infrastructure projects or anything like that?
We've got a application, and we don't know yet where that is in the process. It only closed, I think, last week, Friday. So
Was that for?
it's for our events industry.
Okay, so there's a reasonable chance that will be
We're
showcased as
pretty
well.
good in that space.
Yeah. Okay, thank you very much.
So sorry, through the chair, if I may, I've just found an alternative date for that, for the drinking water, which is the 24th of May, and that'll be held in Napier. And this is, I went to a couple of day session with all drinking water advisors, and all the water managers from over New Zealand went there, and they basically, a lot of them took 2 or 3 elected members to the South Island ones, and they talked very highly of it. It was just, it's created by the Ministry of Health and by Water New Zealand for elected members to understand their responsibilities in the drinking water, supply of drinking water.
Okay.
So, yeah, it's just...
So what date is that good?
That is the 24th of May, and that's in Napier, which will be quite topical since Havelock North is pretty close.
It's a Wednesday.
Wednesday. Okay, is anyone keen, or are you going over, Kevin?
I'll only go over if someone else is... Yeah.
Councillor Williamson?
John, you and I have got a lake protection committee meeting that day,
Okay, project, okay.
most of the day.
Okay.
Okay.
Unless you want to go and I'll...
No, I missed the last one, so.
What date is it?
24th of May.
I'd quite like to go, but it's a week of a conference, so no.
Sorry, Kev.
That's all right. Can I try twice? Thanks. That's good.
Is there any other dates?
Party for one. What is there, a party for one?
Well, one of the things we could do for the 16th of May in Rotorua, if we don't have any submissions for the draft fees and charges, we can bring that back retrospectively. If anybody does want to go, we'll send a reminder out. Once.
I think since the Hastings situation and a couple of other various places like this, obviously it's really topical subject, so we need to be seen to be on top of this. So people can make themselves available. Perhaps if you could put those, we'll keep that in abeyance and retrospectively bring it later on if we have to.
Do that if necessary. Yep.
So there's two options: either Napier or Rotorua. Yeah, cool. All right, thanks, Tina. Okay, have we got all the necessary there? We have a recommendation there. And there in the St John's Park, Hickling, Harvey and Cousins Local Government Conference. All right, could I have a mover, please?
On that one.
Moved by Councillor Cousins, seconded by Councillor Jollins. All those in favour, please say aye. Aye. Against? Carried. Members' reports, 5.10. Have we got any verbal reports, or can we furnish Shani with your various attendances? Be good. Councillor Cousins.
Just through the Chair, I think you've all seen my report from Twizel and Gore, and I'm going to present that to the TTCB tomorrow night at our community meeting that we called, just to discuss about mapping our way forward.
Thank you, Ian. Thank you for that report.
Thank you.
It's a detailed report. It was good. Especially the photographs. All right. Any other verbal reports? Okay. Move that receive the reports to Shani here. Moved by Councillor Hickling, seconded by Councillor Park. Those in favour, please say aye. Aye. Against? Carried. That is it. We go into confidence. Councillor Truman, I just, this public part of the forum meeting is over. Do you mind giving us a final blessing, or do you do that after?
After.
Sorry, okay. All right. Thanks, guys. Thank you, Matt. Thank you very much. So we move into confidence, please. Councillor Park, seconded by Councillor Jollins. All those in favour, please say aye.
Aye.
Against? Carried.